Hi, I'm Jeanette Roche. This is Bridge City News. Here are some of the top stories we've been following today.
A hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship in the Atlantic has a ripple effect as Canadians who were on board return home. Two-thirds of Canadians would like to see a ban of certain social media and AI apps for children under 16, according to a Leger poll. Robot technology and faith collide as Buddhism welcomes a new high-tech member in South Korea.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News with Jeanette Roche.
Thanks so much for joining us. There are new details today regarding the hantavirus outbreak on that cruise ship that has been traveling across the South Atlantic Ocean. 3 people on board the motor vessel Hantavirus have died, with at least 8 other cases reported. Now health authorities are on at least 4 continents are tracking down and in some cases monitoring passengers who left the ship earlier. More than 24 passengers from at least 12 different countries left the cruise ship on April 24th without any contact tracing being done, despite the death of a fellow passenger. Experts say the risk to the wider public is considered low because hantavirus is usually spread through the inhalation of contaminated rodent droppings and isn't easily transmitted between people. 4 Canadians had been confirmed as being passengers on board the ship. Federal officials say 3 Canadians are now back home and isolating. 2 of the people are in Ontario, while the other is in Quebec. A reporter had this question for Ontario's health minister.
And is there contact tracing being done for them or no, because I guess they're asymptomatic at the moment?
So again, Public Health Unit is very much in charge of the monitoring piece of it. More information as we can release the information that they have. At this point, it is believed that they are not in any way a risk of transmission, but it is fluid.
Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says Ottawa is sending consular officials to support Canadians on the ship. Anand and Health Minister Marjorie Michael says a team is working across departments and that public health protocols will be followed.
We have stood up a strategic response team, which is a whole of government team working on this issue. I have deployed consular officials who are currently en route to Tenerife, and the consular support will be in place when the ship reaches port, which won't be for a few days. All public health protocols will be followed when the support is being offered to the Canadians and thereafter. Finally, I've been in touch with my counterparts in the Netherlands, in the UK, and in Spain this morning so that we are staying coordinated on the protocols to be followed from a public health standpoint, and we will offer support to each other's citizens should that be required.
Microbiologists say the strain of hantavirus related to this outbreak is different than the hantavirus strain commonly found in deer mice on the prairies here in Canada. And they say it's highly unlikely this South American strain could ever take hold and become endemic in Canada. In other news, a Leger poll indicates more than 2/3 of Canadians support banning access to social media and AI chatbots for children under the age of 16.
You know, I think it really took Australia to sort of get us all thinking about, about the idea of it. I think a lot of people initially probably dismissed the idea as kind of impractical. While I was somewhat, surprised, I guess, when my premier included the AI chatbots in sort of the same conversation of a ban. I think when I look at that now and think about it, I wonder whether or not, in part, it's the pace of the AI explosion that has really suddenly got people going like, where is all this going? Like, hold on. The social media we sort of let happen, and now I think we're regretting it. Canadians are quite seized by the issue, and they're equally concerned with respect to the social media, but also the AI and the chatbots, ChatGPT and Copilot. There is a preference for a national approach, something that Canadians would be listened to, and I think welcome some movement on from the national government.
Artificial Intelligence Minister Evan Solomon says the government is looking very closely at several regulations around social media. The idea of implementing age restrictions for social media has gained momentum globally since Australia became the first country to implement a ban last December. Since we're talking about AI and technology, we had to share this story. We know robots can do almost anything these days. Well, now they can even join and practice a religion. In South Korea, a humanoid robot joined the Buddhist faith on Wednesday during an ordination ceremony at a temple in central Seoul. The robot received the Dharma named Gabi, meaning mercy, and made an official debut ahead of Buddha's birthday and is expected to serve as an honorary monk for celebratory season surrounding the occasion. Gabi is intended to represent a blending of AI technology with spiritual practice. Another AI-powered robot named Buddharoid has also been developed in Japan, capable of answering questions on Buddhist scripture. Religious robots, how funny. Now I've seen everything. In local news, a ribbon-cutting ceremony was held today to celebrate the grand opening of the new Qualicare Home Care Lethbridge. The event, hosted by the Lethbridge Chamber of Commerce, marked an important milestone for the company and its commitment to providing home care services in the community.
We're so excited to have new businesses open up in our community to offer services, professionalism, quality care to residents, and just to offer ways to elevate our community in ways that can contribute overall to the economy, right? As we're growing as a city, right, we want to ensure that we have enough services to offer to different needs. In addition to the services that are already here, Qualicare does offer a unique brand to what they offer. And
we provide medical and non-medical services for seniors or for anyone who needs personal care services, ranging from your personal hygiene, from bathing, oral hygiene, or even assisting with walking. We do medication assistance, and then we do more medical services. We have offices in Calgary, in Edmonton, and this particular branch covers Lethbridge and Medicine Arts. Lethbridge email address is lethbridge-info@qualicare.com.
we want businesses to be able to feel supported. The Lethbridge Chamber is a great way to start, and we have tons of resources available that we can share with them to get them started in the different areas. The city also has a lot of links on their website as well, and just to start asking questions, and I would start with the chamber. We would be glad to help and make sure that they are in the right direction.
Also today, numerous grants were handed out to charitable organizations across the region. The Community Foundation of Lethbridge in Southern Alberta gave out over $589,000 to 60 organizations during an event at CASA on Thursday. Most community projects receive funds from a large number of donors from the last 50 years. Others, like first-time recipient Farming Smarter, received theirs from a fund that supports high quality of life in rural Southern Alberta.
In the last year, we've heard from some of our audience in the agriculture world, there are new or inexperienced farmers who want to get into agriculture or just bring new practices to their farm, but they aren't certain on how to do it. With our grant from the Community Foundation, we're hoping to build this up and create a mentorship program throughout southwestern Alberta that will pair these new and inexperienced farmers who are uncertain about anything or just looking to grow their skills and knowledge.
We fund a lot of projects that groups can't necessarily find money elsewhere, so if we're not funding them, some of them just won't proceed. or other projects we're funding the last bit of it. You know, they've done a lot of fundraising. Our job is to receive funds and put that money back out into the community as grants. So we thought it would be best to do that as a celebration because the money means a lot to the groups receiving it. It enhances our quality of life for everyone in this region. So let's celebrate that. So let's bring the community together and have that celebration.
Other funds were presented for fields of interest, such as animal welfare and youth leadership, as well as one-time grants for event organizers that hold free and inclusive initiatives. Mental Health Awareness Week is being recognized from May 4th through the 10th. In Lethbridge, the Canadian Mental Health Association is marking the week with its Wellness Wander scavenger hunt, highlighting the importance of mental wellness. David Gabert with the CMHA explains what the program is all about.
CMHA have put together the Wellness Wander, a scavenger hunt designed to take people to over 30 locations here in Lethbridge. It could be tourist attractions, local parks, local businesses. Essentially, you have to solve 30 clues that'll take you to a different location. And once you've done that, you can enter to win some prizes. Really encouraging people to get connected, to really disconnect from social media, disconnect from the internet, get out of their houses, and see what exists in the community beyond us. Maybe it's a coffee with friends and family, but really trying to target and really trying to raise awareness about the challenges about social isolation and loneliness, and what can be done to overcome that, and the benefits that has on our mental well-being. We're really encouraging people to do things like go to the library, go to Helen Schuler in the River Valley, go to CASA and check out some of the art exhibits, things that we can do on a day-to-day basis for free. So the event is happening right now all week. It can take place, you can pick up your brochure at your leisure at the Lethbridge Public Library, at the Community Links desk, or other locations, and you have until May 15th to turn it out.
If people feel alone and don't know where to turn, they can contact Community Links at the number on your screen there, 403-327-5465. A traditional Blackfoot name has been given to Lethbridge's correctional facility, and BCN's Naveen Day has those details.
Two Paths Lodge. That is the meaning behind Lethbridge Correctional Center's traditional Blackfoot name. The name was given at a ceremony held earlier this month. Indigenous Programs Coordinator for the facility, Heidi Heavyshield, says the naming process began with input from the jail's inmates.
It was really important for us to involve our clients in here, many of which are Indigenous and non-Indigenous, who are on really unique paths here, many on their own paths to healing or recovery. We invited a special group of people to represent our population in here in that community. One of them particularly spoke to the importance of having a Blackfoot name, the importance of identity, having a sense of belonging and community.
Now, the center's official name is not changing. Rather, the honorary Blackfoot name will be used alongside the English name in appropriate contexts, such as ceremonial and cultural settings. The name was gifted by Elder One Gun and reflects the center's commitment to rehabilitating inmates through culturally grounded approaches that help them take responsibility and build healthier lives.
Biggest thing for our clients is out there is nothing but, who are these people? They don't deserve this and that. But as an elder and a grandfather, you're coming in as your grandchildren. And what you're doing is you want to give them hope. The first part is making them understand where they come from. And that's the identity piece. The lodge, where they come from, their name, their family. So not too many are very fortunate to have a family. So let alone parents, grandparents, siblings. So that is the exact hope, to come here and give them, I don't like to use the word rehabilitation, but give them the love.
For Bridge City News, I'm Naveen Day.
Thanks so much, Naveen. Well, let's turn our attention to sports now, shall we? And the hockey playoffs. So there's only one Canadian team left in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and that is the Montreal Canadiens. They're playing the Buffalo Sabres in the second round. The Sabres won Game 1 Thursday night 4-2. Some people might assume all Canadians are supporting the Habs, but in St. Catharines, Ontario, Sabre fans are all out in full force.
It's been pretty much electric since the first round started. Our crowds have been actually growing, which is cool. We advertised as being the headquarters for the Sabres playoff run, knowing that there's a big Buffalo fan base here, and it's really grown traction. The Sabres haven't been relevant in 15 years, so there's a lot of kind of pent-up excitement because they haven't been in the playoffs for 15 years, and now that they're good again, people are really excited.
My mom's wearing a Rick Martin jersey, which is her favorite player.
Oh yeah, nice.
For a decade.
Right.
I'm a Pat LaFontaine
Yeah.
from the 80s, 90s, and then my daughter's got her Owen Power on for the current year. So
Oh my God.
we've been lifetime Buffalo Sabres fans.
It's kind of the local team. It was easy to access, from this area, Niagara region. If my team is out, the Sabres, do I hope a Canadian team advances? I do. I like to see the country engage, but on a club level, we have our club teams, and in this area, Buffalo is our club team.
So fun. Game 2 of the Buffalo-Montreal series will be played on Friday night.
Sean Haney here with RealAgriculture.com. The battle over food margins is intensifying as Canada's largest grocers take a hard line against rising transportation costs. In the latest quarterly call, Loblaw executives confirmed they are flatly rejecting cost increase requests and fuel surcharges from major suppliers like Maple Leaf Foods and Unilever. Despite a 21% jump in gasoline prices this past spring, big retail is fighting back to keep shelf prices from spiking even further than they are or expected to. However, this squeeze is already changing how Canadian families shop. We're seeing a massive shift toward discount banners like No Frills and a notable trading down at the meat counter. Sales of premium antibiotic-free chicken have seen double-digit declines, while shoppers are increasingly swapping out steaks for ground beef to manage some of the monthly food budget. While Loblaw's reported a nearly 7% jump in adjusted profit, the focus remains on affordability for consumers. For Canadian farmers, this retail pushback on suppliers means the entire value chain is being forced to absorb the volatility of 2026 energy prices. It's a high-stakes standoff here, where the consumer's breaking point is finally dictating some of the terms of trade. For Bridge City News, I'm Sean Haney with RealAgriculture.com.
As Canada looks to diversify trade partnerships, industries are wondering what might be in store for them. Canadian cattle producers are taking an assertive approach and requesting Ottawa to omit beef from a free trade agreement with the South American Mercosur trade bloc. Manitoba-based cattle producer and president of the Canadian Cattle Association, Tyler Fulton, says a deal with Mercosur that includes beef access will not be good for Canada's next generation of cattle ranchers.
Our industry is not afraid of competition. We already import from many other like-minded partners like Australia, New Zealand, and the US that have similar standards and production systems to Canada. However, if our market is flooded with cheap imports, it will send a negative signal to the next generation of ranchers that says there's no opportunity here. That will prevent our sector from rebuilding the herd in Canada. This means less Canadian beef available for Canadian consumers and less contribution to rural communities and our nation's economic growth. Our government says they want more economic growth in Canada to buy Canadian. But a deal with Mercosur that includes beef access sends the opposite signal. Mercosur beef is cheaper because they have lower standards in animal health, labor, food safety, and sustainability. If we want Canada to increase our food security, as was outlined in the spring economic update, we cannot undermine Canadian beef producers.
The crowdfunding campaign to resurrect Spirit Airlines is growing by leaps and bounds. The U.S. airline abruptly closed its doors May 2nd after failing to secure a $500 million bailout from the U.S. government. Video game voice actor and TikTok content creator Hunter Peterson decided to launch Let's Buy SpiritAir.com. As of Wednesday afternoon, $437 million in unverified pledges pledges have flooded in. The website even crashed several times this week. The target goal is $1.75 billion. In an Instagram video, Peterson, who calls himself the founder of Spirit 2.0, said scammers are already circling and have launched other similar domains. He's warning people to be careful. Spirit had been struggling for years, having lost more than $2.5 billion since 2020 and entering bankruptcy last August for the second time in less than 2 years. Could this be a new beginning for the airline? Will Spirit 2.0 take off? I guess we'll have to see if this idea has wings. Haha. Now here's a look at today's markets.
The TSX is down 125 to 33,856. The Dow is down 313 to 49,596. The S&P 500 was down 28 to 7,337, and the Nasdaq was down 32 to 25,806. West Texas Intermediate oil was up $2.54 to $97.62 US per barrel. Natural gas was up 5 cents to $2.78 US. Gold was down $6.57 to $46.84.95 US an ounce, and silver was up 38 cents to $77.69 US an ounce. Feed wheat is at $8.63 per bushel, barley is at $7.03, canola is at $16.78, and corn is at $7.69 per bushel. Live cattle June contract was down $3.43 to $2.50.05. Feeder cattle were down $6.08 to $3.66.33. Lean hogs were down 2 cents to $91.50. And the Canadian dollar was up over the past 24 hours and currently sits at $93.20 US.
Recapping one of today's top stories, Canadian consular officials are headed to the Canary Islands to support 4 Canadians still on board a hantavirus-stricken cruise ship. The outbreak has killed 3 people so far, and the ship operator has revealed more than 24 left the ship after the first death. Those include 2 Canadians who are now isolating at home in Ontario. A 3rd Canadian on the same returning flight is also isolating at home in Quebec, but none of the 3 are showing any symptoms. The Standing Senate Committee on Human Rights came out with a new report on anti-Semitism in Canada, which showed an increase of violence against our Jewish Canadian neighbors. What does this say about our country's society? Mike Fagelman with Honest Reporting Canada sheds some light on the influences that have impacted our country's views on the Jewish people and what needs to change. Also, when you see news happening in your community, be sure to send us an email at info@bridgecitynews.ca. You can also visit our website or YouTube channel anytime for more of our content as well as our poll questions.